Kanan, Mango Ali. I would like to give thanks to Brother Il Amin. I would like to give thanks to Sheikh Ibn Hassan. All of these people were responsible to make me what I am today. I am your servant. It is my job to teach you, to try to enlighten you, to try to perpetuate this program in a way that we understand exactly what our positions are in this movement. And the only way that I can best explain it is to say that this movement is like a giant puzzle. And if you've ever worked a puzzle, when you take the puzzle and you spread the pieces out on the table, you don't know exactly which part fits into what other part. So as a result, you have to take these different pieces and try to match one piece into another piece. Well, that's the way Fahamme Islam is. We are taught, you people, you gods and goddesses, will have to find your own gods in Islam. This is not Islam according to the way the Arabs teach. This is not Islam according to the way that the Mohammedans teach. This is not Buddhism, the way that was taught by Buddha. But this is Fahamme. And who can dispute that? Therefore, this Fahamme that we are learning today is just like this giant puzzle, trying to make sense out of confusion. We right now don't realize how we have been brainwashed. And brainwashed meaning all the information that was pertinent has been taken from our mind sight and replaced with information that benefits someone other than ourselves. This is why we are told a people's God, a people's history, a people's language, a people's culture are all one and the same. And if you separate any of these from the people, you produce a people who have no history of their own. This is the missing link. This is the missing part of the puzzle that I'm talking about, that we are trying to put back together. We are trying to give back some of that mental capacity that was taken away from us. We were told that someone else's God and someone else's being and someone else's existence is more important than our own. And as a result, what has it done for us? Has it given us anything? It has given us nothing but turmoil. Therefore, I would like to go back into the book of some of the people who gave to me this information. And they gave me this information that I might bring forth this information hereafter. Some of the pictures that you see were drawn by one of our illustrious members who walked and talked with the Rasul, peace be upon him. I would like to read to you something that was written at the Rasul's going home celebration years ago, written by our priest adept, Brother Il Wa'ia. Bisim Leoli Mihiru Omenra. Paul Nathaniel Johnson, PA. The Fahamme Prophet, the Rasul, Ahmadin, La ilaha illallah Fahamme Rasulallah, Allah. One of the greatest men to be born to this world, as time will prove, has passed on, and which we cannot repay him, except to carry out his progress to success. We who knew him are deeply touched and will revere and respect his name for the rest of our natural lives. And we pledge ourselves to carry out his program just as he wished. This Fahammeism, the outpouring of the great solar intelligence, the spirit of the Creator behind the sun, is a program with much force and power. We have only to recall a prophecy made some 20 years ago by the prophet, that when he left this earth, the heat would be such as people of this age never heard of before. On July the 14th, 1954, the day of his death, many towns and places had heat records broken, causing many deaths. 115 degrees. He was the ambassador to the Hamite world. A sermon written and preached at the prophet's funeral by Il-Wa'il. You should visit the church of the Hamites or read the Holy Fahamme Gospel of Divine Understanding, the greatest, strangest, and most revealing book ever written or ever printed. Learn how the Quran, the Bible, throws light on the Negroes and gods and goddesses of Kim, our own saints, saviors, and sons of God. Brother Hill did not write this, but it's also in what I'm presenting to you today. It may sound familiar, and it should. Negro history, philosophy, language, and theology from creations up to now. Their culture and achievements, Negroes know they have a glorious past, a noble history, and an honorable ancestry, but they do not believe it. Our culture and religion and salvation dates back to the pyramids of Khufu, Cheops, at Jaizi, which is the altar to the Lord, and the pillar, Isaiah 19:19. There was a Christianity or creed of Raha over 8,000 years before Hessus, Moses, and Enoch, peace be upon them. The Negro salvation, culture, and history did not begin with his slavery in America, nor the coming of the blessed Jesus, as most of our leaders and historians believe or pretend to believe. They either do not know these facts or they are the world's champion hypocrites. Because all religions are merely the worship of God coupled with the worship of someone's ancestors. Adam is not the father of the entire human race. The Negroes will have to change gods as Moses and Jesus. Mark 15th chapter, 31st verse. Matthew 27th chapter, 46th verse. Exodus 3rd chapter, 14th verse. Exodus 34th chapter, 14th verse. Jesus quit Jehovah for Eloi. Moses quit I am for Jehovah. There is but one God, but he has many names of power. Yeah. To be smart. Being smart is accomplishing or being able to accomplish results, which is quality of action. To be smart is being effluent, vigorous, and brilliant. to smash means to break up or go to pieces suddenly as a result of a collision or pressure. Be cool, young man. It takes a smart person to be pretentious. Smart money paid by a person to buy himself off from some painful situation is indeed a smart dollar. The man was not smart, but the money was. Facts of truth to be remembered. All of these are a montage of lessons that were written down at one time. This is part of the puzzle that we're talking about. This is why what we teach the same thing over and over again, simply because we have yet to accept it. We have yet to accept it. It has yet to become a part of us. Because when we leave here, we go back to that Christian world. And that Christian world is full of deceptions. It is full of things to cause us to error. We don't realize how we have been brainwashed. We don't really realize how we've been brainwashed. But we are being brainwashed. You are being brainwashed, and I am being brainwashed also. When I leave here, I'm going to go and start watching that TV and watch the football game. Not concentrate on what was being told here, and make this most important. Truths are truths to be remembered. That is, that the Creator is the supreme God, unseen force, or supreme power being enacted upon all lives, creatures, by His Holy Son, who is the highest authority in the universe. He is the Father God, who is in control of all life, all light, and all energy. He is like a father and takes care of all creatures, plants, as a father does his family. The Son acts as a father to make known man's place because of his supreme mind over family or tribe. Man, as the Son, he is the supreme commander and possesses a supreme courage. As Krishna of India, as Confucius of China, Buddha of India, China, and Japan, as Amun of Jaize, as Jacob of the Hebrews, as Mohammed of Arabs, Syrians, as Jesus of Jews, and Ghulam of India's Ahmadiyas, as Isis Elian Amun of Ham, as Fahamme of the entire Hamite pantheon, as Paul and Johnson of Negroes or Afro-Americans, peace be upon him. Amen. From the Creator to his S-U-N, to the angels, to the prophets, to their successors, to their followers, all of the highest authority under the supreme mind of all ages, fathers, the followers of the Grand Master, as the Son Father, all living things by permission of the Most High God, to the greatest degree, superlative. The real Africa revealed. The original Africa, or Ethiopia, comprised every land, ocean, river, and lake under the equator, within the tropics. Australia in the east, the Amazon in Brazil, the sundries in India, South America, and every island of the tropics was Ethiopia, ancient Islam. Garden of Eden revealed. Every garden had its own plants, tree of life, kings, fathers, and queen, mothers of all the people of all the mighty rivers throughout the zones had their great floods that destroyed the earth, their fields and cities, and all had arks or houseboats, not only on the Nile River, but even on the Amazon, Brazil. The sons, S-O-N, of Ham were there. God made gods in his own image, God-like. Throughout centuries of evolution, everything belongs to God, however you name a person or a thing. Understanding is God's way and is holy. The zones are 7, with 7 temperaments of people. Thomas Paine's writing, Common Sense, led to Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence. During the Civil War, 1861 to 1865, the border states of Missouri was the center of guerrilla fighting. One night a Negro mother and her child were carried off by raiders. In 1921, he was called before a committee of congressmen to testify on tariffs aid for the infant peanut industry. Given only 10 minutes to speak, he held the lawmakers spellbound for more than 2 hours. During World War II, he taught Army aviators, cadets, how to survive on plant life in jungle countries. He once said, "I discovered nothing. I am God's agent, the instrument through which he works." George Washington Carver. The Bill of Rights. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governor. From the American Declaration of Independence, 1743, 1826 AD. The Creed of Science. This is a montage, as I said, of different lessons to let you know that this is a giant puzzle. Our understanding is a giant puzzle. Trying to put these pieces back together, trying to put those things that have been taken away from us. One question that I'd like to ask: are white people eating the same things that we're eating? Because we seem to be getting bigger, and they seem to be getting smaller. What's going on? The Creed of Science. To love justice, to long for the right to love mercy, to pity the suffering, to assist the weak, to forgive wrongs and remember benefits, to love the truth, to be sincere, to utter honest words, to love liberty, to wage relentless war against slavery in all its forms, to love life, child, and friends, to make a happy home, to love the beautiful in art and in nature, to cultivate the mind, to be familiar with the mighty thoughts that geniuses have expressed, the the noble deeds of all the worlds, to cultivate courage and cheerfulness, to make others happy, to fill life with the splendor of generous acts, the warmth of loving words, to discard error, to destroy prejudice, to receive new truths from gladness, to cultivate hope, to see the calm beyond the storm, the dawn beyond the night, to the best that can be done, and that to be resigned. That is the religion of reason, the creed of science. This sacrifice the heart and brain. The God of jealousy. God is a God of jealousy. I am applying this subject to the ignorant leaders of Islam who think their actions is what Lelahira wants. Therefore, the God of Fahamme is a jealous God, and jealous is his name. Whatever people is like, their God is just like that. If anyone is angry at you, that God is angry also. Whatever condition you are in, your God is in that condition. Only your God knows how to be jealous. While people only know how to be insane or envious, your God is the only one who knows how to be jealous. Therefore, the God of Fahamme is making known his secret conscience that is supposed to be hidden. The jealousy of your God is commanding, can be rejected. Why now? Which requires a completeness of our loyalty or our faithfulness. Our God is jealous of his rights because of the action of the ignorant leaders. Our God is one of madness because of the action of the followers setting in motion. Brothers are preaching and sisters split. Our God is one of madness because of the deviation of the things spoken of and being. Our God or prophet is buried without honor because he taught that he was a God and a son of God. The misfits are maladjusted individuals who were badly adjusted during the conception of parents. Many souls become misfits because of a maladjustment in the family. Whoever thinks they can change the course of the solar intelligence are victims of malinformation. These souls are of faulty structure. There are all kinds of misfits who curse others who stray. The misfits of this world are mentally and spiritually ill and being magnetic. How the God of Fahamme has taught us that we can influence the gods, but this use must be just and right in order to invoke the law of Fahamme. If a city of its rights, then our God is jealous of his rights because of what is required of them, both city and God. Is there completeness or loyalty, and God and man requires the same thing? Animals and plant life have traits and characteristics of the Creator, the same as people do, and they become a jealous guardian of children. Because of this, the dog will bite for their protection. These names of God that are given to many nations, which they must observe, are powers of the senses. They are produced changes or can change the condition of a body of a people. But these changes must first be just, truthful, and right. Yeah. Don't pray with people who don't know what they are doing. All the gods are helpers of the people through the mouths of their prophet, because they were sent to promote only the beneficent gods who can convey to us only the doctrines of the prophets. You all had enough? No. The human race. As I said, this is a montage. It's a montage of different lessons, of different things that were taught. Some of these lessons are more than 35 or 40 years old. I wondered sometime, what was these people learning? But if you listen to them, if you listen to the things that they wrote, Sheikh gave us a lesson on Priestess Aliyah. And I was very impressed by the way that she expressed herself. And I said to myself, these people were not dummies. These people were highly educated. Why is it that we don't have more people here in our temple? What is it that they're afraid of? Is it the brainwashing has taken control of them? Do they not realize that they are brainwashed, which means that their brains have been washed of everything of value and replaced with things that are not of value? The human race. Let me know when y'all get tired. Maybe I might quit. The first people to inhabit the earth were called gods and goddesses, and were the Islamites, long before the word Muslim came into existence. The word Islam is more than 50,000 years old, and its followers were called Islamites. 45,000 years or more years before the birth of Muhammad, peace be upon him, where the Holy Bible reads, and Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, simply means Africa had 3 states, 3 cities, or 3 counties. There is no such thing as this or that race. It is only the human race that is to be considered. The book of books declares that out of one blood came all nations, not races, but nations. The kinship of the people in ancient Chaldea with other nations of antiquity has been much debated. The Chaldeans belonged to the Semitic family of mankind, being in close affinity with the Hebrews, who were the descendants of Shem. Some say that the Chaldeans belong to the Hamite family of mankind, having their closest relationship with the Arab tribes, the Ethiopian Hamite, the Egyptians, Islamites, and the people of North Africa, North Kem. The Christians of today, like those of yesterday, have classified and divided the human race into 3 races: black race, brown race, and white race, or red race. The discrimination as to color were as strongly drawn as at the dawn of authenticity or authentic history as they are today. And they wrote this down. Acts 13:1. Superiority propaganda is merely a greed for wealth coupled with the desire to boss everything. That is why a people distinguishes himself as a race. Concerning the white, or ruddy people, it is said that in the period covered by ancient history, the ruddy people extended its distribution from the valley of the Indus to the western shores of Europe, and from the equator where it crosses Africa to the sea. But remember the Eurasians. He is that same ruddy man. The Christians, all colors, come from climate. In a large part of Africa, now occupied by the Russian Empire, the original tribes were black, what is called brown. And these black or brown people immigrated to and lived in the Caucasus Mountains for many centuries, after which they turned white, being exposed to cold weather, ice and snow. He then became the white or ruddy race, later becoming the Christian race. To speak of him as the Aryan race simply means that his branch of the human race is frequently distinguished by the biblical epithet Japhethite, so named after Japheth, the elder son of Noah, Africa. To this race, the name Indo-Germanica, or into Germany, Indo-Europe, into Europe, has to be applied by the students of history. But the name Aryan, from the root word ar, which is Ra, signifies the act of plowing, has now been generally accepted as the term by which the people of Europe are to be distinguished. The Semitic people, the name of this division is derived from Shem, the second son of Noah, and these Shemites, being descendants of the sons of Africa, is another group branched from the Hamites. These offsprings of Shem carried their tribes into northern Arabia, across the Red Sea, and upper Egypt into Africa, into the African desert, northward into Armenia, westward into Canaan, and far out through the Mediterranean, touching the course of Africa and reaching to Spain and Britain. I'll leave you there. That was one lesson in particular that I wanted to bring to you before I lose your attention, before you go to sleep on me. And that's one of the lessons that a good speaker will look out into the audience and see if he has lost his membership, see if the people are still listening, or if they have gone asleep. Before I lose your attention, I wanted to bring to you this particular lesson that I wanted to let you see if you saw what I saw in this particular lesson. The lesson spoke about what's happening with the world that's going on around us today. What's happening? What do we have that's going on over in Europe? What do we have that's going on over in Africa? What do we have happening here in America? All of these things were preordained. And I can only say that what did we think would happen with the advent of a prophet? What did we think would happen with the advent of a prophet who comes to a people? Did you think that things were going to be the same as they were before? Did you think that the things were going to be the same or things were going to change? Do you think that the prayers that we say here in our temple are not being answered? because you don't see him manifest. God works in mysterious ways. You cannot make God work any faster than God chooses to work. We call on God here in our prayers. Lelach Hira, the highest truth. And Nath. Who is a Nath? What is a Nath? A Nath, I'll tell you, is matter. Matter. When you say a Nath, you are saying matter. What is matter? M-A-T-T-E-R. Matter. Look it up. When you say anath, you're calling on everything in the universe. I'm fumbling around with time. Trying to find this lesson. And the lesson, if I can't get it right now, I'll tell you exactly what it is. I can't find it here now, but I'll tell you some highlights of it. We asked ourselves, is God dead? We asked ourselves, why is it that we pray and our prayers are not being answered? Are you conscious of the fact that your prayers are being answered? That God has heard your prayer and God is making the changes necessary? We introduced the idea of the major arcane. Some people were under the impression that they were going to learn something that's going to cause them to be able to go out and go to the lotto place over there and write something down and get $100 million from it as a result of this secret information that they had received. In reality, the information or the secret information was already given to you. It's in your mind. It's in your mind. It's your way of looking at a particular thing. That is the secret. The secret, that's the secret. It's no secret word that's going to cause you to get rich over tomorrow. There's nothing like that's going to happen. God works his mysterious duties the way he wants to work them. We call on God here in our prayers, and we ask God to deliver us. And God is doing that. Why? Because we have been told through our lessons that all we have to do is ask God to give us something. Do we have faith in that? Do we have faith in that? Do we have faith in the notion that all we have to do is ask God to give us something, and something is set in motion at that very instant? Now, how it is being worked out, we don't know. We don't know. But believe me, God is working. Yeah. God is on his job. God is making those things that we ask for a reality. I still do not find that, but I will say this, that we know that there were empires that existed here on this earth. We know about the Greek Empire. We read books on the Greek Empire and how long the Greek Empire existed. We know that there was a Roman Empire, and that empire existed for so many years. We know that there was an Egyptian empire that existed, that does not exist anymore, but yet and still we still have Africans and Afro-Americans. We still have Italians, Greeks. We still have Romans. Even though the empire does not exist, we still have people here who exist on this earth after the empire collapsed. I wanted to know what caused this. What was the days when that empire collapsed? What was going on? What was going on out in the universe? What was happening? There was a lesson here that kind of explained exactly what was going on, that I might want to bring to you. There are certain definite things that happen when an empire is on its decline. And these things seem to be universal. One, the building of huge monuments. Rome built huge monuments before they declined. Greek built huge monuments before they declined. Egypt built huge monuments before they declined. But yet and still, these monuments are here as a reference to us that these people existed. Number two, exorbitant taxation. We are being taxed on everything. You're being taxed for your water, for your air, for your food, for your necessities of life. High taxation. What happens to these taxes? The money goes right back to the government. It puts pressure on the people. The people were so taxed at one time over in France that they rebelled. In other places. The third one, and this is the one that is prevalent with us right now, because every time you cut the television on, you see it. And the third one is sexual perversion. Sexual perversion. That is a perversion that they have yet to be able to control. The sexual perversion. They had the sisters wearing the big hoop skirts at one time to keep the men away from them. Did that work?
No.
They had the women wearing iron belts, chastity belts. Did that work? Sexual perversion. Right now, we wish that we could control that urge. We know that everybody here will experience it. Our children will experience the same things. This sexual perversion. We see it on television every day. Sexual perversion. And as I said, maybe I'll find this lesson somewhere and I'll be able to bring this lesson to you in its entirety. We thank you. Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum.